Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's azluxurytour.com. We try to go out to some of the most beautiful homes in Arizona. If you're in San Diego and you see some of these homes, we are Arizona Real Estate, Arizona Prices. Now we're going to do a segment with a celebrity chef. Chris, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Chef Christopher Wolf. I'm the executive chef and the chef instructor right here in Arizona Culinary Institute.
And you've got a very interesting Italian dish. Introduce that to the audience, please.
I thought I'd take a moment today and I'll walk you guys through how to make just a simple Italian potato dumpling called a potato gnocchi.
And show us how that's done.
Well, in order to make this dish, we're going to go ahead and need about 4 Idaho potatoes. We've washed these, poked a bunch of holes in them. We got them sitting on a bed of kosher salt because we're going to bake them in the oven, and that salt actually helps draw out some additional moisture because we want these things to be nice and dry when we go to actually turn them into our dumplings. We're going to need a little bit of all-purpose flour, either some oil or melted butter, and just a couple of egg yolks, and that's really all it takes to make these wonderful little dumplings.
And you got some naturally grown, is that basil?
Yeah, I had to show off a little bit. At Arizona Culinary Institute, we actually have our own herb garden, and we grow a lot of our herbs for the school that we actually use in the restaurant that we serve the public.
So anybody out there that would like to get into the restaurant industry, because you do all phases of the schooling, introduce that a little bit to the audience.
Yeah, we have it's no frills, no fluff, just teach you how to cook program. It's a 7.5-month program. 6 months are in-house, and we do a 6-week externship at the end. Nuts to bolts, we strive to make you employable by the time you're done with us here at the school. We cover everything from culinary arts, baking and pastry, up to restaurant management, and it's just one program. So all of our students that go through the school get to go through all the classes rather than have to pick a specialty.
Fantastic. Let's do a commercial break. When we come back, we'll go to the next step of creating gnocchi. Did I say it right? Gnocchi.
Close enough.
All right, good enough. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to the show, azluxurytour.com. We are broadcasting from a beautiful kitchen in a model of Blanford Homes at Mulberry, and this is in the Mesa area out by Signal Butte and Guadalupe. So you got to come out and see these models. Again, Chris, reintroduce yourself, please.
And I'm Chef Christopher Wolf, executive chef and chef instructor over at Arizona Culinary Institute.
And we're working with gnocchi. I'm trying to learn to pronounce it. It's
getting better as we go.
It's an Italian dish, and tell us the next step, what we do.
So the potatoes spent about an hour, hour and a half in a 350-degree oven, and then when they come out, what you're going to do is you're going to either need a food mill or a potato ricer, one or the other. They are both very, very affordable tools for making mashed potatoes, homemade applesauce, whatever you want. It's worth the money. So you're going to take your potatoes when they're out of the oven. They'll be a little bit hot. You want to let them cool for a moment. Then we're going to go ahead and put those cooked potatoes, minus the skins obviously, into our food mill or potato ricer, squeeze those through, at which point that's where you would add your flour and your egg yolks, salt, pepper, a little bit of melted butter, a little bit of oil, and then you would gently work that together into a dough. When it comes together in a dough, you want to start to roll it out into a long strip like we've seen here. And it's really like if you've ever played around with bread, or I forget, I'm not talking to bakers here, but if you ever rolled a baguette or anything like that, it's that similar motion of just go rolling the dough out on the countertop, dust it lightly with flour. And that's the great thing about a countertop like this. There's so much counter space. You got plenty of room to do this while everybody watches at the same time.
Right. So
you go ahead and roll this guy out, and once it gets in a shape similar to that, what you have to do is take a knife, or this is called a bench scraper, and you just go ahead and just cut these into little 1-inch pieces. Okay? Try to be as consistent as possible. And then one of these handy-dandy little tools, this is called a gnocchi board. It's one of those things that even if you never make gnocchi, have one in your house and let people think you do.
There you go.
All right? And so you grab one of these little guys from just a local kitchen store. Make sure it's nicely floured, and at this point you just take your little dumplings, and this is the fun part, and you just kind of roll them off the end of the board. And this is where you call everybody else in, and everybody gets their hands dirty, and everybody just sort of jumps in, and you make your little dumplings, just like so.
Fantastic. Now you'll agree, the Blanford kitchen here, we've got some beautiful appliances. One more time, you really like to go into homes where when you do some catering on the side, you love these type of kitchens with these type of appliances.
Yeah, it's always nice when you go into somebody else's home to cater and you walk into a kitchen like this. I mean, all this counter space and just brand new appliances. The 6-burner stove, you had me at 6-burner, fantastic. And the beautiful ovens. I mean, this is the dream house, the dream scenario when you go into a kitchen and cater for somebody. This is what you want to walk into, and sometimes this is not what you walk into.
Exactly. Well, come out and see some of these beautiful Blanford homes. Again, we're at Signal Butte and Guadalupe, and the models are open, 6-7 days a week? Excellent. Stay tuned. We got to do a break. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are azluxurytour.com. We are broadcasting statewide in Arizona and in San Diego. We're in a beautiful kitchen at a Blandford home, model home out in Mesa, Signal Butte, and Guadalupe. Our guest is Chris. Introduce yourself again.
I'm Chef Christopher Wolf, Executive Chef and Chef Instructor over at Arizona Culinary Institute.
And we're going to wrap up this segment because we want to see what gnocchi actually looks like when it gets finished. Tell us what we got.
All right, so when the dough was done, we brought a pot of water to a boil, and then we lightly salted it, put our little dumplings in there, and when they floated to the surface, we fished them right out. At which point we went right into a saute pan with a little bit of butter, salt, pepper, and then we got our finished gnocchi right here.
Let's get a shot of that with the camera. Look how they look finished. Beautiful.
And then we obviously aren't just going to put dumplings in a bowl. We had to jazz them up, so we just got a nice bolognese sauce here. So tomato sauce with meat. We made it a little fancier than that, but that's good, right? And so to plate this guy up, all we're going to do is just take a couple of these gnocchi, go right into the center of the bowl here, and then we'll accompany that with some of our bolognese sauce over top. You could go ahead and just toss the gnocchi immediately in the bolognese, but I just think it makes for a better presentation when you can see the two separate. And then we got a little nice high-end, freshly ground Parmesan cheese. And then we would just finish that off with a little chef's touch of chiffonade or thinly shredded fresh basil, again right from our garden at ACI. And then we'd have our finished dish of potato gnocchi with bolognese, Parmesan, and basil.
Fantastic. So if anybody has any interest in possibly taking classes or getting into the industry, they have a great program there. Thank you so very much. We've got to wrap up this segment. Everybody stay tuned. We're going to be right back.